Hey everyone, it's Lauren Robertson here. I'm coming to you from my bed because, as some of you know, Corbs and I just moved to Montreal and our sofa hasn't arrived yet. And the little setup I had going to shoot my videos, I accidentally unpacked the box that I was using as a chair. So I now have nowhere to set up my video station. So, welcome to my bed. I wanted to do this one and only quick video about coronavirus. COVID-19. Now, I know there's a lot going on. There's a lot of different points of view. A lot of people are very scared. A lot of people are probably not taking it seriously enough. And I think that, as with most things, there is kind of a middle ground and a bit of truth in both of those things. There's reasons why we should be optimistic and continue living our lives well, and there's also reasons why we should be a little bit more careful as well. So I wanted to let you know, based on some of the research that I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, what steps I'm personally going to be taking to protect my society, so people at large, to protect my community, that means you, and also to protect myself as well. So, first of all, as you know, in terms of protecting society, what this is really about is stopping the virus from spreading. Stopping the virus in its tracks is the best way to protect everybody. So, how do we do that? Well, first of all, as you probably know, wash your damn hands after you go to the toilet and many other times during the day as well. And what's really important is not to be sort of gathering or congregating in large groups, not to be going places where there's lots of people, where there can be a high level or rate of transmission. And really, this is the most important part, I think, because the reason we need to stop the transmission is not for people like me who are young and healthy and have like a health regimen in place already, which I'll tell you about in a second. But it's for the people who are not healthy and who need our help to stay away from this virus. And that's really what it's about. Also, there's such a thing called flattening the curve. So, flattening the curve in terms of protecting society is about delaying and prolonging what COVID-19 is going to do to our society and the impact that it's going to have. So, here's the deal, right? This is partially fact and partially my opinion. A lot of us are going to get this virus. A lot of us are going to get it. Maybe almost all of us. It will probably become endemic, like the cold or the flu. You know, eventually it will just be something where we go, oh, you know, I've got the flu or I've got the cold this time, but it will be this particular strain. So if we're all going to get it eventually, you might be thinking, meh, what's the point in taking precautions? Well, the point is because if we all got the COVID-19 suddenly together all at once, as we see happening in Italy and what happened in China, we as a society are not really equipped for everybody to become sick at once. We're not really equipped for everybody over the age of 65 to need, breathing assistance or additional medical treatment than what they have already. And so by protecting ourselves in terms of not being near other people, practicing social distance, working from home if you can, and not shaking hands, not breathing on each other, just keeping a distance right now to stop the pathogen from jumping and spreading between us. We are actually lessening the burden on our medical system and on places like Asda, Tesco, Walmart, anywhere that does food deliveries or that depend on a supply chain to keep bringing us food. We have to think about spreading out the time at which everybody gets sick so that those systems don't collapse. Because the real problem with the virus is not the virus itself, it's the social collapse that might happen as a result of us all getting sick at once. Another reason why it's better that you get the virus later rather than now is because as these viruses tend to inhabit humans, they become a little bit weaker and our immune systems become a little bit stronger and more familiar with them and more able to handle them. So if you were to get COVID-19 right now, it's probably at the most potent it's ever going to be because it's a new virus that's just jumped to humans. if you were to get it a year from now, the virus is probably going to be a little bit weaker. It's going to be better adapted to actually survive within our system without killing us. And so it's better for you as well to prolong getting the virus. So it's not a good perspective to have to just be like, nah, I'm fine, I'll deal with it, I've got an immune system. It actually is better for yourself, better for society, and better for the vulnerable loved ones in our community to try to prevent yourself from getting it right now. So obviously you guys know I mostly work from home anyway. So Corbin and I, we're not freaking out at the moment. We're not like really worried about it. Obviously being in Canada, there's only a small number of cases here at the moment, but we are fully expecting that Covid-19 is going to make its way here and make its presence known and felt, to be honest. So what we're doing at the moment is we're just preparing for the possibility that Corbin might be working from home. Obviously, as a coach and a course creator and author and all of that good stuff, I work from home mostly anyway, so that's fine. But we are preparing for the possibility that Corbin will be asked to work from home for 2 to 4 weeks. So we're thinking about, if we don't want to be in contact with people, and if Corbin's going to be working from home, and this may happen in the next sort of 2 to 3 weeks, obviously we don't really know, and we need to prepare for 2 to 4 weeks, like what do we need to have? What's going to make this comfortable? What's going to make this an experience where it doesn't need to be about suffering? It can be about moving with this rhythm of nature, moving with this situation that we need to face, and trying to make the best of it, to be honest. So we're looking at probably doing a little bit of a bigger shop for certain goods, and we're probably going to be meal batching a little bit extra so that over the next couple of weeks we can have a few extra frozen meals and that available as well. And it's not that we think that there's going to be a massive, like crisis. We're not stockpiling toilet roll or anything like that. It's just really to minimise the human contact and to be aware that there might be a little bit of a strain on the supply chain and the supply system because of the sort of human pressure and social and economic pressure that the absence and fear and illness and all of these things is happening because of the virus, and that's going to put a little bit of pressure on the supply chain. So we're just trying to make sure that we are prepared for that pressure coming. So that's what we're doing to look after really the community, is to be honest, like when the time comes, getting ready to stay out of the community as much as possible. So what I'm talking about here is self-isolation, not when you're ill. So self-isolation, not when it's like, oh, I've got coronavirus or I feel unwell, because you might have already, contacted and come into communication with people. What I'm talking about is preparing for isolation preventatively. So if your schools are closing in your area right now, or things are closing, or things are, there's a bit of a supply disruption, or things are becoming a bit weird, it's probably because they're doing it preventatively. And that can actually be a really good step, because isolating yourselves and isolating people and stopping the virus in its tracks before anybody is symptomatic rather than after has shown in the past to be like a lot more successful in containing a virus than waiting until you're ill and then being like, oh yeah, I guess I should go home and not be touching and kissing and laughing on people now. So it is possible that Corbs and I will consider, he has less of a choice because he's at work, but I will possibly consider some sort of isolation measure preventatively for the benefit of my community rather than in response to whether or not I get sick. So we're talking about those ideas at the moment. That's something that your schools and your community might be doing and looking at the moment, and it's something for you to think about as well. So that's what I'm doing to do my part really in protecting the community at large. And as somebody who's quite introverted, I'm like, ooh, I can catch up on my reading. And it's like, I do not mean to make light of it at all. I do not mean to, I don't know, like disrespect anybody who's ill and going through it right now. But this is what I mean about just go with it. Go with what you need to do right now and try to make the best of it if you can. So what I'm going to be doing to protect you guys, my community, is I will not, for the foreseeable future, be launching my new Spirit and Thrive mediumship events here in Canada. Everything was all lined up to begin a launch very soon. I've had the video trailer made, everything's ready. Everything was ready just to get launched. I'm not going to be doing that right now because as a medium, Quite a lot of my demographic are people who are in their 50s and above who come to my mediumship shows, who want to hear from their loved ones, and I just don't want to be the cause of people who might be vulnerable congregating for no reason. So when things have passed and we're in a sort of maybe milder wave of COVID, or it's settled down a little bit, or this first wave is kind of over, then I will look at doing my live events again. So they are going to be postponed for now. But what that does mean is I will be working on the online aspect of my business much more fully. So as many of you know, I'm going to be launching the Spirit Circle in a couple of weeks. It's not long now at all, which is an online coaching program for mediums. So I'm going to be teaching you and coaching you every 2 weeks to develop your mediumship from this unique, self-aware, introspective, this idea of what you do in life, you become in your mediumship. So how can we make you a happier person, a more confident, a more self-loving person to make you a better medium? So that's something I've been working on over the last little while. So I'm going to be launching that really soon at a very reasonable price. And it's just pay-as-you-go coaching. So you can stay as long as you want and be coached with me, or you can leave whenever you want and end it as well. So I'm putting a big push on that, and that's going to be coming out really soon. I will also be continuing to make these videos, chatting with you guys, basically just moving everything online so that I can continue to educate you and make a contribution without actually having to breathe all over your face or touch you, because you all know I'm a hugger, so I would probably be the first one to get this virus because I'm super touchy-feely. So I'm better just staying at home where I can't do anybody any damage. So that's what I'm doing to protect you guys, my community. I'm just going to postpone live events right now and work on developing the online aspects of my business and opening up more channels for how you and I can work together online. And what I'm doing for myself personally is I'm a great believer in nutrition as a medicine. I'm a great believer in food as a medicine. Before Corbin and I moved here to Canada, we were in quite a decent juicing, vitamin, healthy protocol. With the disruption of the move just a couple of weeks ago, we haven't quite settled back into that yet. But obviously, in light of what's going on, it definitely is time to get a little, again, pre-virus immune boost. So rather than waiting to get sick, I believe in planning and taking preventative measures to give our immune systems the best possible chance. Now, one of the things that I deeply believe in which there's a lot of evidence for, is that vitamin C in high doses is one of the best markers for health, and is one of the best markers for having a strong and powerful immune system. Almost all human beings are deficient in vitamin C, and unless you're eating about 7 portions of fruit and veg a day, like giant portions, you're probably deficient. So today I'm just going to be getting some off-the-shelf vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B12, and Corbs and I are going to be starting on a kind of immune boost, vitamin boost regimen. So that's really it. I'm continuing to wash my hands thoroughly whenever we leave the house or enter the house or use the bathroom or anything like that. We are washing our hands. Corbs is being particularly vigilant because he's going to, obviously an office where he's going to work with a lot of different kinds of people. But besides that, again, we're just really sort of getting ready and planning for, as I said, the three circles of responsibility as I perceive it: responsibility to society, responsibility to our community, and self-care really, and taking responsibility for ourselves. So I'd love to hear from you. How are you coping with this coronavirus news, with COVID-19? How are you feeling? Please leave me a comment. I'm here for you. If there's anything you're worried about that you want to voice your opinions or concerns, please do in a comment. And I will link to the podcast that I listened to where I got a lot of the information that I currently just shared with you. So I'll also link to the studies about vitamin C and the powers that it has to boost your immune system. So if you want to talk about any of that stuff, I'm here for you. Please leave me a comment. I'll be delighted to talk to you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will speak to you again really soon. Lots of love. Bye. Mwah.